I just feel that having contributed to bringing about this tragedy to Nigeria by contributing to the emergence of Bola Tinubu as president, I should contribute in my last lap, okay? Because I'm 65, I should be retiring. In my last lap, let me contribute. Let me contribute towards removing this evil that I believe will destroy Nigeria if.
Barrister, that was El-Rufai. You heard him. You know, we initially thought El-Rufai was eyeing. Actually, he was eyeing to be president. But when I watched this clip, and I realized that El-Rufai is just trying to be vindictive here. El-Rufai is not after presidency. He just wants to. He's trying to be vindictive here. He just wants to bring down his own target now. Is to bring down Bola Tinubu. And if his own target is to bring down Bola Tinubu, I think that's a good. So it gives credence. It gives hope to someone like Peter Obi, because the truth is, Peter El-Rufai, that is on. I think is within the alliance. Is in the alliance as well. Someone like El-Rufai, if he decides to actually decides to go for the ticket, it will cause even more it will make the whole thing to be more complex. So after watching this video, it's obvious that someone like Peter El-Rufai is open to any viable option strong option that can actually pull down a Bola Tinubu's presidency. Do you think so? Do you see someone like El-Rufai as evil? Look, El-Rufai, I can't believe I'm the one saying this, because El-Rufai is someone I do not even want to bring in my political calculation as a positive idea. But unfortunately, we are talking about it because they say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You can actually have an alliance with your worst enemy just to defeat another of your enemies. So that's the scenario we have found ourselves. Do you see an El-Rufai actually supporting Peter Obi against Atiku? Because what someone like El-Rufai is a very smart man. There's no doubt about him. As bad as he is, El-Rufai is just like Tinubu. His own is that he's worse than Tinubu, because El-Rufai, there's no loyalty with him. He's so fluid politically. So he moves with the tide. He doesn't move against the tide. So that is just the bad. That's where he's different from Tinubu. Tinubu is a very consistent politician. That's why he's the smartest. So do you see him? Because someone like El-Rufai, as intelligent as he is, he will want to go with a very strong option, an option that will pull down Tinubu. So someone that has a vindictive spirit or vindictive intention, such person will jettison every sentiment, everything that he is known for, to make sure he brings his vindictiveness to fruition. So do you see El-Rufai, as much as he hates Tinubu, as he hates Obi, and he hates the Christians, and he hates the Igbos, do you see Peter El-Rufai in such kind of spirit, has such kind of spirit, aligning or teaming up with a Peter Obi to outsmart Atiku? Not even Atiku is not smart. To push out Atiku from getting the candidacy, because El-Rufai knows quite right that Atiku does not have any political weight, even in the north.
Let me say, one, that El-Rufai is very intelligent and smart. For that reason, I have never judged him, and I will never judge him on what he says in the public. I only judge him on what he says behind the scenes and by his the actions he takes. You are also right that there is an element of vindictiveness in his current political enterprise. And there is good reason for it. The humiliation he has suffered at the hands of Bola Tinubu is enough incentive to galvanize him to that vindictiveness. He is by nature a highly vindictive person. He has boasted that he fought Jonathan. He fought who else again? He fought Yaradua. and he fought Jonathan. In the first case, he said, "Where is Jonathan now?" He fought him until he died. And then in Jonathan's time, he fought him until they removed him from power. So there is that streak of vindictiveness in him. He has suffered politically. When Buhari became president, even as he was elected governor of Kaduna State, he actively pressured Buhari to make him the chief of staff because he understood Buhari's weakness. And he believed that if he emerged as Buhari's chief of staff, he will be politically very powerful, and financially he will amass enough wealth to carry on his political activities. Unfortunately, he could not get that chief of staff, and that began the distancing between him and Buhari. Forget what he currently say that Buhari is his boss and this thing. There, in the old 8 years of Buhari's administration, there was some measure of distance.
Yes.
Between him, distance and friction between him and Buhari. Just because of that failure to get the post of chief of staff to Buhari. Now, when all was said and done, he took part actively in railroading the northern governors to support Bola Tinubu's presidential campaign to enable him get the ticket of the APC at the National Convention. So there was a sense of entitlement. Forget that he was saying, "Oh, I don't need any appointment. That is all for the public." He had to position, he wanted to position himself. He chose the ministry he wanted Tinubu to give him. That is power. He already chose it. That's what he wanted to be a minister of. And then, from nowhere, he did not reckon. He thought people like Nuhu Ribado were lightweight politically, forgetting that Nuhu Ribado had been given the post of National Security Advisor. It was Nuhu Ribado's underground work that led to El-Rufai not being appointed minister because of adverse security reports which they originated. So he is bitter, not just at Tinubu, but he's bitter because he wants to put himself in a position that he will obstruct Nuhu Ribado's ambition in 2031, because that is Nuhu Ribado, according to El-Rufai, wants to destroy all credible northern politicians and position himself for 2031. That is after Tinubu must have done 8 years. So El-Rufai is not looking just at Tinubu's 2027 election. He also wants to cripple Nuhu Ribado because of the perceived wrongs that they have done to him. So he's a highly vindictive person. But being intelligent and smart, he knows that there's no pathway for him to be president. He has so messed himself up in certain ways that he knows that there's no pathway for him to be president. So he wants to be the spoiler-in-chief and the destroyer-in-chief of his perceived enemies, i.e. Tinubu and Nuhu Ribado. These are the two principal enemies that El-Rufai wants to fight today. So by coming into this alliance, he will become active, and if the alliance comes to power, he will become it will enable him deal with his two principal enemies going forward. I therefore agree with you that if the calculation favors Peter Obi, he will go along with it and he will support it wholeheartedly. He will support that ticket wholeheartely. I agree on that basis.
All right. Now, since we have an agreement on that, now do you see an El-Rufai money bag being a force to reckon with when it comes to Atiku as a money bag as well? If he, like you said, if he sees Peter Obi as a viable, as the viable candidate, it's not a viable, the viable candidate. Do you see him bringing out all his financial muscle to actually match that of Atiku? And Atiku is wealthy. There's no doubt about that. But El-Rufai too has amassed stupendous wealth himself. He is a billionaire as well. So can he support? If he's out to support Peter Obi, can he withstand a money bag, a political money bag like Atiku?
Well, you have to also remember that the intelligence and smartness of El-Rufai makes him not to fight with money. He fights in nefarious ways. So when he wants to go about something, leave the money aside. If he wants to fight Atiku, he will not match Atiku money for money. He will use other nefarious ways to fight Atiku. So that is why I said it is not a lost battle for Peter Obi within the agency. He should remain there and let the dynamics of that coalition play out, because there's no other pathway out there for him. So let him be the man and fight within that coalition. That is his best guess and best chance going forward. People like El-Rufai can be brought into his own group. And like I said, El-Rufai fights dirty, not necessarily with money. There are other ways of fighting, which he knows. He does not leave everything. There's nothing that is too small or too big for him to use to fight when he's fighting somebody. So somebody like that, even if you disagree with him, is somebody to keep close by.
Yeah.
And that is why when I said that El-Rufai is in the agency and people were saying, Christians, I said, look, provided they use him rightly, they use him, they understand the baggage he has, and use him. The hallmark of good leadership is you have people working under you. Some of them you know they are bad, but they have some good qualities in a certain area.
Yes.
So you keep them, you still keep them with you. When that opportunity comes, like I always give you the example of my lawyer, he can fight physically anywhere. So there are instances where you need that kind of approach. You send the person, even if you do not agree with the person. Such people are useful in their own way. So if the coalition can use El-Rufai properly, it will still be beneficial to them.